Hello, my name is Christian Valencia, and this is my Dismantling Stereotypes project. I chose the movie Freaks from 1932, and I'm going to focus on physical impairments. A quick synopsis of the movie is that a wealthy little person, Hans, owns the circus, and an attractive trapeze artist, Cleopatra, seduces him for his money, planning to run away with the circus strongman. Some of Hans' friends realize that Cleopatra is using Hans for her own benefit, and they take matters into their own hands. So I just want to talk about some quick fun facts about the movie. It was the first major motion picture featuring so many people with disabilities. And the movie was also banned in a few different countries for a while for being too grotesque or too disturbing. I've chosen to focus on physical impairments, and it's one of the most diverse groups of disabilities, and it ranges from dwarfism to cerebral palsy. I have a few pictures of people here with physical impairments. And I just wanted to take a second to stop and reflect on physical impairments in pop culture. I chose to focus on Jake Acuna, aka Wee Man, because he just passed away over the weekend. And also, I wanted to bring into the spotlight sort of like freak shows in general and like Ripley's Believe It or Not, just sort of places that'll make a few dollars off of people's physical appearance. So if we look at the idea definition of physical impairments, there's three main groups. There's orthopedic impairments, multiple disabilities, and traumatic brain injuries. And if you look at orthopedic impairments, it's broken down into even more groups. It's neuromotor impairments like palsy, degenerative disease like muscular dystrophy, and musculoskeletal disorders, which is usually what people that you would see in a carnival sideshow or something like that would have as extra or missing limbs, dwarfism, things like that. I'm going to skip this video just out of time. So some positive notes about the way they portray disabilities is that they show a tight knit community of circus performers, many of whom have disabilities, and they are like a family, and they're loyal and tenacious. And the majority of the people with disabilities are shown living normal lives, being married, dating, fighting, drinking. Some of the bad stuff they don't show very well, or they show in a negative way, is people with disabilities are menace to others and themselves and to society, which was in the block reading. You can see that when in the beginning part when they get chased off of a rich person's land and he realizes that they're part of the circus, so he lets them stay to sort of save himself because he knows that there might be some repercussions for not letting them get their way. People with disabilities, especially cognitive impairments, are wholly innocent, endowed with special grace. And they kind of show that with what they call the pinheads, or people who have microcephaly. They're sort of treated like little children most of the time. And at the very end of the movie, Cleopatra becomes disabled because of a result of her evil doing, and disability is a type of punishment, which Longmore mentions in his writings. Some of the psychosocial stigma is that they humanize people with disabilities and they give them a voice, but they just sort of fall short in the long run. They just kind of go more for the shock value, unfortunately. They make it seem like Hans could never truly gain the love of a regular, quote unquote, beautiful woman. Down there, I have a picture from the movie where she said, "Please, you make me ashamed." That's from their wedding scene. So, pretty much overall, they really just kind of couple fear with disability. There's like a cult. There's like the woman Cleopatra is really kind of disgusted and afraid of disabled people. And even though they do try to humanize them sometimes, it's mostly just about the fear. Overall, I think this movie did a really good job with representation. We could see a few different things that are represented. We have microcephaly over here on the left, and then conjoined twins, dwarfism, and then there's even a possibility of a hermaphrodite in the movie. They kind of just gloss over that real quickly, though. I think that it's good overall because it shows a lot of people being very independent, doing things. They even have one of the main characters is a really wealthy person, and they exploit ideas of marriage with conjoined twins, although they kind of joke about it a little bit. I also learned that there's a fine line between giving a voice to marginalized people and falling into stereotypes. So if you think about it, they always have these monster movies, and they were all okay. But when you see people with disabilities, they're identified as too disturbing. People with disabilities are usually portrayed as incompetent and naive, and they're most always pushed into their own social groups. And unfortunately, this happened in film